Thank you so much for taking time on your Friday to be here with me. So today we're going to go through building a website on Wix.com. So again, this is information that is specifically for Wix, and the information that's about to be presented to you in the PowerPoint is from Wix blogs because we are using their platform specifically. So obviously it made sense to do research off of their site. And there are many other platforms you can use to create websites. There are Squarespace, Weebly, Wix, GoDaddy. I know Google lets you build websites now. There's a huge variety out there. So this is just one of the many. Again, if you guys do have suggestions of ones that you'd love to see tutorials on, feel free to email them to me. I have my email up at the end of the presentation, so feel free to jot it down and send them my way. All right, so we're going to get started. All right, so we're going to begin with a little overview of what we're going to look at today. So we're going to get into the different types of websites that you can create, the creation process. We're going to go through pages on your website, different design tips for creating a website, your content, the domain name, hosting, SEO, analytics, and then just like with the previous tutorials, we're going to get into the steps we're going to go through for building the website with Wix. And then we're going to take a quick 5-minute break for our eyes, and then we're going to start with the tutorial. All right, so the creation process of your website begins really at the conception phase. So there's a couple of questions that you're going to want to ask yourself. So what are your goals for your website, and who is your target audience going to be? So if you're developing this for your virtual assistant business, your goals for your website, for example, could be getting clients. And your target audience, for example, could be the technology industry or the nonprofit sector if you're deciding to niche in marketing or accounting services. So again, it'll depend on what you decide to niche on after graduation, who your target audience is going to be, and what your overall goals are. Could virtually stay the same depending on your niche. So the reason why you want to ask yourself these questions is because it's going to really help you understand which platform is best suited for your needs. We just talked about the variety that there are out there. And it's going to help you come up with the specifics of what your website is going to need to contain in order for you to achieve your goal. So, as suggested by Wix, here are the 10 most popular types of websites that they see created across their platform. So they see a lot of business websites, blogs, e-commerce websites. So business blogs, and sorry, not business blogs, business websites, pardon me. These enable you to sell a certain service or product. So a business website would end up being a great choice for a virtual assistant because it can help you sell your services. So blogs, while they are a page you can add to your business website, by themselves, they're a type of website that allows you to write long form content, and it consists a lot of articles and images related to a specific topic. So if this is something you decide interests you, you can always create a blog page on your business website, and you can talk about either different trends you're seeing in the virtual assistant industry, new tools that you've discovered that you find really helpful, or maybe some that aren't. Really, the possibilities are endless. It depends on what information you want to give to your audience. So an e-commerce website is pretty much an online store, and it allows you to sell products online. So the same with your services, you can create a online store to sell your services as packages. The only thing that I would suggest is possibly not doing that just for the sake that it kind of takes away from the opportunity to have a discovery call and really make that first point of contact to decide whether or not you can offer them the services that they're looking for and if you're going to be a good fit working together in the future. So again, it'll depend on the services that you do offer, and it is up to each individual person. So for portfolios, this is like the e-portfolio that students develop. So people make use of these types of websites in order to display their own work and their skills. So event websites, these most of the time are generally just a page or two, and they display the detailed information about events. And this can include comprehensive schedules, transportation suggestions, maps, all these different kinds of things. Some of them may contain scheduling and ticketing softwares, and this really allows people to reserve a spot at your event right away. So this would be really handy if you have a client who's looking for something online for their event. This could be a great suggestion for them. It might not necessarily be something you do for your own business unless you get into more of the public speaking route. So it also details on here online forums, personal websites, membership websites, nonprofit websites, and informational websites. So forums are websites that enable people to discuss topics, ask questions, and interact with one another. So it's like the alumni forum that you have access to. And they really focus on a certain niche because it helps to bring like-minded people together from around the world. Personal websites are websites surrounding and really representing an individual person. And a lot of the times it's very similar to a portfolio. It just has fewer visual elements. So membership websites are a type of website that requires users to, as the name suggests, have a membership in order to receive full access to all of their services, tools, or resources. So this is the kind of website that's really common with online news sources like the New York Times, etc. You get a certain amount of articles for free, but then you require member access in order to see more. Nonprofit websites often include a description about the nonprofit organization, details of the work they do, and a gallery of past events, along with a place to donate. And then informational websites are used as platforms with the main purpose being conveying information and acting as a resource. Their main purpose is to be informative. So again, you won't have use of all these websites for your own personal business use, but it's a good idea to keep these in mind because you may have to work on these for clients in the future. So creating, publishing, and hosting your website is something that you're going to have to consider, but here is what you have available to you for using Wix, the platform we're going to use today. So for as long as you wish using Wix, they let you create, publish, and host your website for free. It's completely up to you if you want to upgrade your online presence and use some of their tailored features. That's what their premium packages are available for. But they've also got different options like Wix ADI. So they say this option is best for the complete beginner or someone who needs a website made really quickly. And this is because it uses AI technology to build a custom website for you in the blink of an eye. So what you do is you answer a couple questions for the AI technology, sorry, and you let it do the heavy lifting for you, and it produces a website according to your preferences. The next option they have is Wix Editor. And they say this one is best for anyone who's looking to create their own website, be it a beginner or advanced. So their editor is a platform that you can use to drag and drop elements onto your website. So this makes it really easy to add or change different things as you're going along. So the Wix editor is also very handy because it comes with things like templates, because templates are truly the best for anyone and everyone who's looking to get online. So try and customize them as much as you can to suit your business needs, along with matching your logo colors, etc., because these are honestly a really great choice for anyone who's looking to put their own personal touch on their website, but doesn't necessarily want to pay out of pocket for a professional web designer. That can end up being very pricey. Yes, it is worth the investment because it does give you a very professional look, but again, not everybody has that much capital to make that investment. So your other option is to do it from scratch. So this again is for people who feel completely comfortable with design and don't mind looking at a white canvas. So you can start this way, or they do also have templates that have really minimal layout built into it without any additional designs. So it does leave the rest up to you. And this one is really popular for people who like to create their own images on Canva and things like that. And then Velo is a coding platform that Wix uses. And this is for people who really are looking for that advanced customization because they're able to add custom functionality to their website. And again, if you do have the capital, one of your options is to hire a professional. So again, this is for someone who has the capital. If they really want that extra professional look, if they maybe don't have a lot of time on their hands or they're not really well versed in web design, then hiring a designer is a really, really awesome option for you. But again, there are people who don't decide to go this route, and this is what the tutorial is for. Now we're going to get into the pages on your website. So this is really going to have to be what you decide your pages to be are going to have to be aligned with your overall goals for your website. So since their websites are usually made up of a number of web pages, each one should provide specific and unique information. And they're going to help give your website structure, and they're really going to help you to display more content, and it helps to release the burden from your homepage. So not everything has to be in one place on that one page. You can spread it out. So to help you decide what pages best fit on your website, you are going to have to do some research, and honestly, also take a look and see what your competitors are doing on theirs and try and see what's working for them and what's not. Take note of that because it generally tells about trends in the industry. So some of the best websites that are out there feature the following popular web pages. So the home page is the main page of a website. The About page gives customers and clients insight into who is involved, what's being done at the business, and it's a reflection of the purpose or personality of the business. A contact page is where visitors can go if they would like to contact the business. And the FAQ page generally is a page that gives quick answers to common questions. So collectively, these pages will help to enhance your site and really tell the complete story of your business. You also have to keep in mind that your pages really should blend together with a consistent and coherent look and feel. So start your website creation with your homepage because that's where you're really going to get across your main idea and the purpose of your website. From there, you can work on adding more pages, especially as your website and your brand grows. And these additional pages really help to make sure your visitors and your potential clients are going to get all the information that they need from you. So, for example, as your business grows, you can add a page that talks about client testimonials. So that way, potential clients can look there and see what other people are saying about work that you've done for them before. It's very important to keep in mind, though, that having too many pages can get overwhelming. So try and make strategic decisions on what information you feel is essential to being on your website and what information can really be left out and just brought up in conversations. All right, so web design. This is everything that you see when you come to a website. So the visual elements that are going to be on your website are what help the people, the visitors and readers understand, interact, and it also helps them to emotionally connect with what they're seeing on their screen. So again, according to the industry, it is possibly the most noticeable and therefore most significant part of your website is the design aspect. So the first design element we're going to talk about is colors. And this is possibly the first, if not one of the first things that people notice when they come to your website. So colors are extremely powerful. They can evoke certain emotions in people, and this really makes them essential in telling the world who you are and what you're all about. So, for example, if you go to a sit-in restaurant, you'll notice a lot of them decorate with red. This is because the color red is known in the restaurant industry for making people feel hungry, and therefore they eat more. So, colors can also be used to make sure that certain parts of your website stand out. So again, going back to your logo and your color palettes, etc., you really want to consider what colors are going to fit best with your brand and try to be sure to stick to a main color and just a few secondary ones because too many colors, just like too many pages, can be overwhelming and it really impacts the focus of the person visiting your website. So really take the time to think about the different choices that colors are going to represent for your brand. And again, this is where heavy research comes in. Menus is the next one. So the menu on your website is going to help people find information on your website. And it's the first place people are going to look when they want to find organized information. So you really want your menu to reflect the website goals and be aligned with the web pages. So for example, an about page, if you're creating a web page for your virtual assistant business, an about page is crucial so that way visitors can understand your business. The next essential part we're going to talk about is buttons. So, like the Get Started button there that we'll click on later, these take people to the next step and they really allow visitors to engage with your website. Because of this, you really should make sure that they're noticeable and that they're clear. If someone's visiting your website and they're not sure what's going to happen if they click on a button, they're probably not going to click on the button. And if they can't find the button that they're looking for, they're probably just going to abandon all their efforts together. So, in order to avoid this, you really want to make sure that you're adding buttons with clear text or with clear icons that are identifiable. So, an example of this, people will understand the meaning of recognizable social media symbols like Facebook and Instagram, or a downward arrow or a downward facing arrow, pardon me, to indicate a download. So, for example, you can add bright colors to your buttons, play around with their size, and really try to find a strategic placement for them on your website so that way they're getting the attention they deserve. The next one is visual elements. These are things like images, videos, scrolling effects, shapes, anything that helps serve to focus the eye of the reader and make your site memorable. So again, really consider what's going to fit best with the colors that you've chosen, the buttons that you've already chosen, and then really go through with Wix. You'll see that we can browse through their photo and video library until we find what we want. But you can also do different things through other programs and have them downloaded and ready to go. And then mobile design. So phone screens are a lot smaller than computer screens. So the layout and design of them really should be different. And it's one of those where if you take the time to think about how often the people in your life are on their phones, studies, honestly, in recent years have found that more than half of the world's internet usage takes place on mobile devices. And the number is just continually on the rise. So it's well worth your time to invest in the mobile design of your website just because it's probably going to be how most people are looking at it. And this means that certain website elements may have to be taken out from the mobile version in order to give people the best experience possible. For example, larger images, you may have to take those out of the mobile design because it's causing slow loading times for people who are trying to visit. Another important aspect of mobile design is to make things easy for your readers to find. Try and keep your menu towards the top of your website. So that way it makes it easier for them to find other pages on your website. And then the last point is really take the time to put a personal touch on your website and make sure that it represents you. Make sure that it's unique and make sure it's really saying what you want it to say. And there's no harm in going over it 5, 10, 34 times before you hit publish, because this is how you're going to be representing yourself in the business world. And it makes sense that you want everything to be perfect. Content. So when it comes to the content of your website, this is a type of visual, and the textual content on your website will define how the visitors interact with your website and if they purchase your services. So, one easy way to accomplish this is really try to make the information you're presenting digestible. So, use a combination of things like text with images or videos, a variety of content. So that way, people are staying invested and interested in your content. People's attention spans have gone down to, I can't remember the exact number, but it's around 4 seconds now with the increase in technological use. We're very much a quote unquote scroll culture. So providing people who visit your website with a combination of content is really going to help keep them engaged until the end of their scroll. And again, you're going to have to take a lot of time to do research and find out what content you're going to want to be producing and putting out there. So you're going to want to take time to research what kinds of images best complement your writing and really understand the advantages that video content provides. And then you're going to want to do research and see for video content how to produce engaging video content. You want to make sure your content strategy for your website stays in line with your overall goals, because you can use the information on your website to drive visitors to take certain actions on it. So, for example, if your goal is to introduce a new service, perhaps a promotional video would be a great way to go and introduce this service. So you really, again, want your content to be as dynamic as possible. And the content that you're putting out there should change as what you're offering evolves. And as your company grows, for example, you can get video testimonials and things like that from clients. You can sit down with that new content and adapt your strategy to fit your brand as it changes. And this ensures that everything stays aligned with your overall goal, with your mission and your brand, and it gives your website its best chance at success. Domain name. So again, this is another important piece of content on your website because it's its name. So it's basically the title of your website, and it's what makes your website identifiable and easy to find for people online. So deciding to invest in a custom domain name really helps to give your site that professional look. And once you choose your name, you can decide on your domain extension, whether it be .com or .net, whatever your preference. But once you pick your name and you do decide you want to have a custom domain name, you do want to make sure that it is purchased and registered through an official domain registrar. Hosting. So hosting is basically a storage house for your website. So a hosting service, the hosting company makes sure that your website has a place to live online and that it's accessible to people on the internet. So for example, with creating a website with Wix, your website receives free hosting. It's automatically included when you publish your website. So it takes out the step and the need for you to find an external host. And again, you don't need to use Wix. This is just the information you're being given because this is our tutorial. All right, SEO. Search engine optimization. So this is the practice of optimizing your website to help it rank better on Google and other search engines because it helps bring more traffic to your website. So SEO really requires providing the right content on your website that satisfies the needs of readers and visitors who are going to be searching for relevant queries. So for example, if you're doing a website for your virtual assistant business, you're going to want your SEO to focus around virtual assistant. You're going to want your content to focus around virtual assistant because it'll help you with your search results on Google. And last but certainly not least, website analytics. So these are tools that help you understand how your website's doing. If it's successful, if it's not really doing that well, it helps you understand how people are interacting with your website, where these people are coming from, and you can use this information to help identify areas for you to grow in, where you're doing really well in, and it can also help you make informed decisions about your business, like whether you're going to be offering new services. So the analytics tools help you gather this information. Again, it's things like how many people have visited your site, where they came from, when they visited your site, where did they click, um, where where they came from can be translated into different areas for you to focus on advertising your virtual assistant services because they could be lucrative areas that are really untapped in the virtual assistant industry. So again, it can also be used to help you curate your website content and give you and help you create opportunities to present services that match what your audience is looking for. Another thing you can use these tools for is to really understand how they're behaving once they come to your website. Again, where they're clicking. So, for example, when you created your website, maybe you felt that the get more information button was clearly displayed or contact me button was clearly displayed. But apparently, a lot of people are navigating away from the site before they reach the button. So maybe you can take a look at this information and decide that your button needs a change in location. Maybe it needs to be in a more prominent spot on the web page, or maybe it needs to be in a different color that helps people find it easier. So again, these are the types of conclusions that you're able to make and improvements that you're able to make while using web analytics tools. And the importance of this is because it helps contribute to your long-term success. All right, so I'm going to suggest everybody take a moment to grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil because we're about to get into the steps for building your website with Wix. All right. So here are the first 4 steps. So the first step is we're going to sign up for the website builder. And we're going to choose what kind of website we're going to create. From there, we're going to customize a template. You can start from scratch, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to customize a template that's already there. After we have customized a template, we're going to use the drag and drop design features to add text, galleries, videos, etc. We may not get into every single thing you can add to your website, but you'll get the general idea. So the fourth step, we won't be adding an online store, but we will be trying to add a booking system, a client area, a blog, and just seeing how they look and deciding whether or not it's something we feel would be beneficial for our business at this time. Step 5 is when we publish the website and go live. So going live, we're going to help build the professional online presence of our business. And then to drive traffic to your website using advanced SEO tools and integrated marketing solutions. So we're going to see what's available on the free platform on Wix. And then final point at the bottom, again, if this is not, web design is not your cup of tea, our best suggestion always is to get a website made for you. Because this is also a starting point of choice. All right. So, as we were talking about earlier, my contact information, my email is up on the screen right there. If you have any suggestions of different website builders you'd like to see tutorials on, or any topics in general at all that you'd like to see webinars or podcast ideas, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm always open to suggestions. All right, and now we're going to take a 5-minute break for our eyes before we get into the tutorial. It may not be a full 5 minutes. We'll see how everybody's feeling. But yeah, so right now, feel free to grab a bathroom break if you need it, run and grab a glass of water, whatever you need to do. And at 11:40, we'll give it 4 minutes, 11:40, we'll come back and we'll get started on our tutorial. All right, so now we're going to exit out of the presentation. If at any point you can't see my screen, please let me know so I can rectify the situation. All right, so as we saw in the presentation, we're going to hit get started. All right, so we're going to start by entering our email. Put in mine. We type it again. Create a password. It's a longer password. There we go. Now it matches. And we hit sign up. You can save the password to your keychain. And so the first question it asks you here is whether you'd like to get started for yourself or whether you'd like to create a site for a client. So you can skip this if you want to, but we're going to get started. What kind of site are we creating? Business website coming soon. Because we're not actually going to publish our website today. So what do we want to add to our website? Recommended for us is chat and an online store. So chat we can select because it allows us to chat with website visitors from desktop or mobile, which is great. We can select bookings because you can use it for clients to book their discovery calls with you. So that way they can book their first initial meeting and it allows kind of like a seamless first interaction. And again, as you continue with your business, you can always add more pages. Forms would be really handy if you've already decided that you want to have payment options set up, if you want to have a weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, bi-weekly newsletter, whatever have you, pardon me. That way you can use a form to get subscribers. You could also use forms to gather information from potential clients. So you can always have it selected and have them fill out an initial intake form. And from there, you can direct them to the booking agent where they can book and schedule their first call. So that way you have a bit of information to work off of first, and you're not going into the phone call unprepared. So we'll check off forms for that reason. So there's events, video, music, Instagram feed, pricing plans if you would like to sell subscriptions and memberships. We're going to select pricing plans because it'll give you a place to put your services and your packages that you offer. And scrolling down, you can also add online programs, a forum, groups, table reservations, food orders, restaurant menus, and bands in town, where it lists all of the upcoming live events that you've subscribed to. So for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to stick with these three, and we're also going to add a blog in there just because it's really a great resource to demonstrate your knowledge in the industry. And then we'll hit next. Is this a new business? So we're going to say, I'm starting now. You do have the option to say it's already open or I'm still exploring. What would help you run your business? So again, it's going to be whatever is up to you. Promote my business, manage my clients, look professional online, get paid online, work from mobile, meet clients virtually. We'll select meet clients virtually and go next. Have you created a website before? We'll say this is our first time. Now, once we've come to the end of the questionnaire, you have the option to hit Start Now to let Wix ADI, which we talked about in the presentation, create your website for you. You answer a few more questions, and it comes designed for you in minutes. It creates custom text, images, all of that. But for the sake of today, we are going to use Wix Editor and choose a template to create our own website. All right, now we're at the template page. We're going to scroll through and pick a template that really speaks to us. So one point of feedback that I have gotten from clients that I've done websites for on website building programs such as Wix is that they really like the seamless, plain look. You see, oh, no, I can't hover over it. On this one here, if you see how the sides are clear and the information is centered in the middle, that is really popular with website visitors, which is feedback that I've gotten from clients. So that's something to keep in mind when you're creating your website. So as you can see, they've all got little titles underneath them. So we could spend all day scrolling through, deciding what we want to pick. But again, for the purpose of this, we're going to use the drop-down menu. So we are going to go to Business and Services. Under Business, it lists a bunch of different little subsections. But we're going to hit Services and Maintenance. So it really narrows down the templates for us to see what people in the industry are using and leaning towards. So again, we can spend all day scrolling through. If we want, we can search virtual assistant to make it easier for ourselves. So we are going to go with this one, the virtual assistant template. Again, you're allowed to go with whichever template you choose. It's totally up to you, whatever you feel suits your business the best. So as you can see, the Wix editor opens up on the screen. And we do have it full screen. You can zoom out if you'd like to. And then you have the option to switch to mobile so you can see what it looks like. So I got a question in chat. Do we need to pay to have a website of your own? So with Wix, you can design your own website and it's free to have up there. The only thing you would have to pay for is to customize your domain name. So if up here, say for example, you wanted virtualassistantbusiness.com, that you would have to pay for. It depends on which provider you would choose, how much it would cost you per year. I believe it's somewhere generally around $12 to $15 for a domain name for the year. But if you don't pay for the domain name, then you can't decide what your web address is going to be. So for example, when you hit publish, well, when we hit publish, I'll show you what I mean by that. But when you hit publish, the web address up here will probably be something that you're going to want to have to write down on a Post-it note. So that way it's easier to remember, just because it's not going to be something you have any control over. All right. So we are going to switch to desktop. All right. So for the tools, we can add menu and pages, theme manager, background, add apps, media, start blogging. And then there's an option here for business tools. So the first thing we're going to do is edit our title. And as you can see on the right here, text settings open for you. So that way you're able to choose your theme, your font, the size of your font. You're able to pick the color. You're able to pick if it's highlighted. You can choose if you want to link the text so it becomes a hyperlink and takes the visitor somewhere else. Preferably, my suggestion would be to direct them somewhere else on your web page, so that way you're not taking traffic away from yourself. You do have the option to bold, italicize, underline. You can choose the alignment of your text, etc. If you scroll down, there's vertical text, character and line spacing, effects, but there's also this handy SEO and accessibility. So once you've actually typed in what you want your text to say, as you can say here, you can choose the HTML tag for that text, which again will help increase your chances of being seen on Google. So again, you edit your site title and your subtitle, and then you can go to your button. Double clicking on it. If you don't want it to say see services, and you just want it to say services, and you're like, oh, I like that, but I want it all in capitals. You backspace, hit cap locks. You're like, oh, that's much better. I like the way that stands out. Perfect. And as you can see down here, it's going to link to the page services and pricing, which is what you want. And then you can exit. So as you can see highlighted in green, your button is linked and it's ready to go. You can choose to animate your button. So by clicking on it, you can choose for your button to bounce in. If you look on the right, it does give you a little example of the animation. It can glide in, fade in, and if you scroll down, there's a few. So we'll use spin in and hit customize. And now it brings you to the animation settings. You can choose the number of spins that your button has. For example, if you put it up to 3.5, you can hit play and watch it spin the amount of times, and you can decide, oh, we'll put it up to 4.25. Perfect. More eye-catching. Going down to the next one, you can choose if you want it to spin clockwise or counterclockwise. Hard, medium, or soft spin. The duration of the spin, how many seconds. If there's a delay in the seconds. I just got another question in the chat. Is it possible to sign in for now and practice on it while you're not ready to publish until such time that you are ready to publish and pay the company domain? Yes, it is entirely possible. You can sign up and sign in for now, practice on it, move things around, play with the colors and everything like that. And that way you have a feel of everything. You've got time to really decide what everything's going to look like. And then once you're ready to go and you've got your domain set up, You can get it attached to your website, hit publish, you'll be great to go. And then one of the little options on the animation settings that's really nice is that you can select only animate the first time. So that way it's not constantly using up any data or anything like that if they're on a phone. You do switch to mobile settings to enter mobile settings on their own. So once you're done, you can back out of it. And then if you click on the design, as you select each one, you see highlights in green and it's ready to go. So you can choose a themed button, or you can scroll down to discover more different types of buttons. So again, what you choose is going to entirely depend on what your logo looks like, what your colors are, what you want to accomplish with the first thing that people see on your homepage, what you really want that button to do. So there's so many to choose from. So we're going to go with this one and customize the design. So you can choose the button design. You hit that little blue arrow to see more. You can choose the background color. There's themed colors that are here. Or you can click the little plus sign down here and add custom colors. And here, if you click on that, is where you can enter the color code. So if you have a color palette for your business and things like that, then you're going to have your color code on you ready to go. And you can just copy and paste it into here to make it easier for yourself. And then you get into things like the border, corners, if you would like a shadow on your button, the text on your button, what you want the color to be, the theme, the font, the size, bold or italicized or both. And then once you've made all of those decisions, you click on hover and you decide the button color when someone hovers over it. So as you can see, just choosing each one, it changes on the right. But we like the way it looks regular, so we're going to stay that way with button design. Perfect. And then for button layout, you can choose how you want it aligned with the text. We're going to keep it in the middle just because it works the best for us. And then if you need help, you can click on the little help button and a help center pops up. Which is really, really great because it gives you a little rundown. There's some FAQs there, a little video. So there's really something there just a click away to help you on every step of the way. All right, so let's decide that we want to change the background. We don't really like that. So we hit change strip background. So selected backgrounds. This one, as you can see from the little image down there, it's actually a video. So we can select it, hit play, and see how it would look at the top of our site. So this is a really popular option for businesses now, integrating video content just because it resonates so much more with visitors. So we're going to keep that. And if you wanted to, you can go into settings And you can select an overlay pattern for your video. It also works with images. You can select whether you want it darker or lighter. If you select overlay color, you can select the opacity, and you can select the actual color. So again, everything is fully customizable. You can also choose where the video is positioned, if the video plays at normal speed or if you're going to speed it up or slow it down, and if you're going to play it in a loop or not. So if you decide you like that video, but you'd like to look at others, you can select videos here, and it opens up your choice of stock videos from Wix. So you can go through and really decide what speaks to your brand if a video is something you want. As you can see, you can explore media from Wix, but they've also got Shutterstock available. And then if you did design any yourself, you've also got the option to upload media. So if we type in business, video of in the office, networking, so you can scroll through and see the different options that are available tagged under business. So we selected someone typing for the background. If you decide you didn't want to do a video, that's okay too. You can always select image instead. And the same search features apply. And you can also upload media again if you decide to do your own. And you can pick layout to decide how you would like this content laid out. We have it centered because, again, from feedback from website visitors, that is what works best. And again, if you need any help, just hit the little help button. And it's helpful because, as you can see here, it's different from the previous help button we clicked on. This content is tailored to the strips. So this way, it makes it easier to find what you're looking for. So scrolling down, say we want to edit this section now. So honestly, if you want to change the different color of the line, you can choose the layout, scroll effect, whether it's stretched. So we are going to go, and with this image, you can hit design. So you can choose whether you have a frame or not around your photo. And by scrolling down, you discover more. And then you just hit customize design, brings you to a next page. So you hit border, and that's where you can select whether you want the border to be thicker or not. And then shadow. This one has a shadow enabled. You can see it running behind the white. You can choose the angle of the shadow, the distance the shadow travels on the web page. If you look on the right there behind the photo, you can see it getting farther away, stretching closer to it. And then as you can see, as I move around different angles, the shadow moves around behind the photo. And again, scrolling down, you can choose the size of the shadow, the blur of the shadow, to how prominent the shadow is. You can also choose the shadow color. And then down here, you can also choose the opacity again. So if you want to change the image, you just hit change image. And it starts right here for adding your own files, because this is generally where you're going to want to add your own headshot. So because we don't have our own headshot, we are going to use this generous lady's. We are going to pretend that is our headshot. So again, you're going to have done some research and you're going to know what you want your homepage to look like, the information that's going to be on it, and what you want to say to your website visitors. So here may not necessarily be an introduction for you. So you just double click on it, and this is where you can highlight it, edit it, make it your own. It may not be an introduction. It could be where you talk about service. You could start going into services that you offer, or you could start talking about your blog. It honestly, it's completely up to you. It does not have to be a personal introduction. But again, if it's not a personal introduction, change the photo to match what the content is about. We're going to put virtual assistant. And for anyone who's wondering what this little green circle here is, this is Grammarly. So this is the little app that I keep talking about. So when you have a Grammarly account, this is one of the handy things about Grammarly. It actually checks your grammar no matter where you are. It follows you around. So you always ensure that you're getting everything right, dotting those I's and crossing those T's. So as the text says here, you just have to click and you can add your own text and edit away. Again, you can also hit edit text, but double clicking works as well. And over in the text settings, you can change everything. Always remember before you publish to go through all your pieces of text and give them an HTML tag. So this would be P for paragraph. If you click on this one, you can see it's heading 2. And it's different little things like this that are really going to help you with when it comes to appearing in search results on Google. It's tedious and time consuming, but it is worth it. It brings you the clients. And again, when it comes to buttons, same editing process, whatever you want to put there, just ensure that it's linked to the page that you want. And again, here you can choose. And then from the drop-down menu, this gives you all the pages that you have available. All right. So when it comes to menus and pages, we were just on the home page. So that's when you can click on services and pricing, and it brings you to the services and pricing page. You can edit your title. You can edit the paragraphs. You can change your backgrounds. You decide you want it centered left, right. And you can decide if you don't want that one, you can go through and decide which vector art you want. Again, you can use it from Wix, or if you have ones that you created for yourself that you downloaded from other programs, just go to upload media and you can upload them. So that way they're able to be used on your website. I would suggest doing some research on vector art for websites just because it is super handy to have ones that correspond really well to the topic that they're being associated with. It's just more pleasing for the eye for the reader. And again, this is where you can put in your different pricing plans. Again, you can edit it whether you charge per hour per month or per package or per quarter. It's up to you. This is just where you would input all of your information. You can edit it however you'd like. And then you would hit the Site Pages button again. And then you would go to an About page. And this is where you can get into more about yourself and your experience. If you've got any testimonials from clients, you can put that in there because it speaks to your work that you've produced, your work ethic, etc. And then you would go over to the contact page. And again, you can double click on the vector art to find ones that suit you. It's totally up to you what you decide. My apologies, didn't mean to double click there. And again, whether you put the form at the bottom, whether you put it at the top here, it's entirely up to you how you want to lay it out. But the form allows people to get in touch with you first. But if you click on form settings, you can collect information from your visitors. So if you create a submissions table, as you can see here, to view your submissions, you have to publish your site first. So you hit got it. You can go to add new field. So say you want to collect specific information from them. You can go down to basic fields. And here, short text field. Say you want to move it to above the long answer field. And as we were talking about, it's very easy. You're just clicking and dragging. And then you double click to edit your text. So for placeholder text, you can either have add answer here or please type response here. You can make it a required field if you want to. If you don't want any placeholder text, you can hit none. Field title is where you can put your question for your potential client. Like, what is your vision for our partner? You can set a character limit if you want. And then you can go in and stretch it out so it's all the way across to match the rest of the form. And again, it doesn't need to be this question. It could be whatever question you want. It can be something like, what are your business goals for the next quarter? Different little things like that, just to give you an idea of what their business is about, what their goals are, really, why are they hiring you? You could make the question, why are you looking for a virtual assistant right now? Just anything that will really help you with that first phone call and gathering information for yourself so you can be as prepared as possible. And then over on the right here, just like how we talked about in the presentation, Social media icons are very recognizable in today's world. So you have Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn on the screen there. So all you have to do is click on the social bar and you can set social links. So the first one is Facebook. The title for alt text is Facebook, and then it asks here, what social page does this icon link to? So if you click there, you're able to edit the URL and paste the one for your business. And then you hit done. And then say, for example, this was for someone to contact you by phone. You can always hit the icon there and hit phone number and add your phone number with country and area code. Hit done, and they'll be able to call you just by hitting that button. And then when it's all said and done, you go through. And again, you can decide to animate it if you want. And there is the help button here if you need any assistance. Okay, so the theme manager here is something that you're going to want to get set up ahead of time. So this is where you can change the colors for your theme to match the colors of your business. So again, 5 colors, it's the best to stick with it. If you don't have any set up for yourself ahead of time, that's fine. If you hit choose theme, you can go through and scroll and choose one that's already created. And it's nice because you get a little preview of it as you're scrolling through if you hover your mouse. And then you can do the same for text. So you can scroll through and it's got the different headings and the paragraphs here, and you can go through and edit them. So you can pick the font size, bold, italicize, you can pick the color. Once you've got all that set, you hit apply and you can change them as you go through. That way, when you're going through and editing it, you can hit edit text. You can go to themes and you've got the themes that you set up all ready to go. And you just select the one you want. And you're good to go. So it makes it a lot easier for yourself. It's like the brand kit that we were talking about in Canva. All right, overall background for the page. So you're going to want to do this with each individual page. So your page background, again, it can be a video, it can be a picture, whatever you want. For the purpose of this layout, it was white. There was none. But if your layout does call for a background image, this is how you would choose one. And then it does have the option for you to apply it to the other pages if you want the same background on all pages on your website. And if you do, you just hit apply to other pages and then you select which ones. We'll keep our homepage separate. Now, when we go to our service and pricings page, as you can see, it now looks like the contact page. So now you have a uniform look across all 3. So down from background is the apps button. So this is where you can add different Wix apps to your website. So this is really going to depend on what you want your website to do for you, what services you want to offer. Social Stream displays your social media posts. So if you're active on social media in the virtual assistant industry, this would be something great to add to your website. And there's a free plan available, so it's definitely something worth looking into. My best suggestion would be to browse through here before you actually go to add anything and just do your research to see what's going to be more beneficial for you. Wix, pardon me, Wix Bookings is something that we did select to have just because it's a scheduling platform, calendar, and online booking system. So being a virtual assistant, it would be a great asset to our website. So we're opening Wix Bookings and adding it to the contact page. And so now this is the Wix Bookings Manager. So it states our services. There's category 1, category 2, category 3. Again, this isn't what yours has to look like. You just go to manage services. Okay, so as you can see here, in order for us to integrate this to our website, we would need to use a business premium plan. So one of those things, if that's okay, don't worry about upgrading to a business premium plan if it's not something that you have the capital for or the overhead for. That's where you can go to your Calendly, your Microsoft Office, your Google Calendar, whatever you use to keep track of your appointments, and do research on there and see how to embed that into your website. So that way, you've got another option for people. And it also demonstrates a willingness to get the job done and see that what you want on your website is put there. Okay. So when we click on media, if you're looking for something specific, you can search here. There's an option to upload your own media. If you connect your Facebook and Instagram business accounts, it allows you to upload directly from there as well. Same with your Google Drive. You can edit images and videos, but they've also got free Wix images, videos, and free Shutterstock images and Shutterstock videos. Shutterstock, some of them are, as you can see, you have to pay for them. Generally, you have to pay for them. So for Wix, you're able to scroll through and just add to page. And you can click and drag and add things as you wish. That is not what I wanted to do. So as you can see, it's really, really customizable. You can change the settings of each individual photograph. You can decide if a link opens when someone's clicked on it, where it opens to. You can change the image if you end up not liking it and want a different one. You can adjust the image in the photo studio here. And this is where it gets into photo editing and things like that. You can crop it, enhance it, etc. And so if you want to add a blog, this is where you would start doing that. But again, when it comes to adding a blog, I would wait until your website is fully set up and ready to go and you have the time to dedicate to a blog. Because even if you just decide to publish once a month, it's important to stick to that publishing schedule so that way your readers that you get for your blog can rely on consistent publication. And then they'll end up looking forward to your once a month, twice a month post, however often you decide to publish. Perfect. So as you can see, adding is really easy. You just click on it and it appears on the site. So clicking and dragging works really, really well. And as you can see, there's a pink line highlighted on the right, and that is to show you when you've reached the edge of the web page. So if you put it past here, whatever goes past and is hidden won't be seen. So that's what that means. Can I get rid of him? All right, so we're going to go into managing services. So you can add your first service here. Oh, never mind. That's for upgrading. I forgot about that. My apologies. Okay. This is the service page I wanted. Sorry about that. All right, so this is your services page. So as you can do from all the other ones, you can edit the title image up here, the header image. You can edit the title. You can manage your services through here. All right, so we're doing one-on-one. So we're going to name our service. Service 1. Service subtitle. Subtitle. It's optional. You can add an image if you want. But then down here, this is where you put a description of your service. Descriptions are important. This is where you can add your cover image. As you can see, by hovering over the eye, it gives you just a little description of what each section is for. So that way, you've always got a little reminder. And then if you scroll down here, you can add it to a service gallery, but you don't have one of those started yet. So that's a step for later on. So service type. Appointment, class, or course. So appointment is a one-on-one session. So that's generally probably what you're going to be using it for, especially if it's just for discovery calls and one-on-one appointments. You can set the session duration. You've got the option of 15 minutes, 30, 45, an hour, and then you've also got the custom option. And you've got the option to add buffer time. So buffer time adds a few minutes after each session to help you create short breaks in between meetings. So if you're someone like myself who forgets to take breaks, having a 5-minute buffer time in between breaks, in between meetings, sorry, to give yourself that eye break, really great. Really, really great and helpful reminder. So let's say we want to make our sessions for, because we're making it custom, we'll say 34 minutes. So price per session. Generally, because it's for a discovery call, we just hit no fee. So that way, clients aren't charged when they book and use the service. Location of where it's being held. We need to save our progress before we can enter our location. Perfect. Video conferencing. So because generally you're going to be working from home in your own home office, this is going to be a function you're going to want to add. So if you don't use Zoom and don't want to connect your Zoom account, that's fine. You just can copy and paste the link from your meeting right into here. It's up to you if you want to create a password on it or not. And then you also have the option of creating a little description about your meeting. This is here if you've got your packages and things listed and you want them to be able to book the service with a plan. This is something you would get into, but if it's just for the discovery call, that's fine. Service availability. So you would have to choose who is available. And since it's only you, you can rename and you would put your own name there. Hit save. Perfect. So that way you've got yourself saved, you can attend, you're ready to go. There are additional settings that you can choose from. So for your online booking preferences, you can choose if you want to accept bookings manually or if you want to automatically accept them. I would suggest selecting manually approving them just because it saves you from possibly double booking. Nobody likes doing that. As you see here, there's a little note that Wix gives you. If you do decide to manually approve, you're not able to connect a pricing plan or accept online payments when you manually approve booking requests. But since we're doing it for discovery calls, that's okay. It doesn't apply to us. So we just hit save. And then the booking form. When they are booking a call with you, you can use a default booking form. But since you're Oh, we're going to need to save before we edit our form, so we can do that. We're just going to save. So we just went back into edit, additional settings, edit default form. So if you're only going to be using this for discovery calls, that's totally okay. So all you need to do, your page title, discovery call. Tell me about your business. You and your business. You can also just choose to hide the subtitle if you don't want one there. And then you can go into the different form fields. You can decide whether you want the name and email, phone number, number of participants. So this only is going to show up if you're going to allow booking with multiple people, but since it's only you, it's not really applicable unless you decide to grow your business later on and you decide to take on other VAs that work with you, then that's something that you would have to get into. You could add custom fields so that way whatever questions are on your discovery form, you can add those into here. And then the form buttons, if you hit request to book, that way it will go straight to you and you're already set to manually approve booking requests. So just to make sure everything is on the same page. And you make it visible on your site, available under our services. Perfect. So underneath the very last one we're going to go looking at are the advanced business tools. So we're not really going to get into these. It's just kind of for me to show you that these are here. So if you decide to go and get the full professional version, these are different things that are going to be available to you. So you can get into marketing, SEO tools. It shows you different things about coupons, social posts, where you can design for Instagram and things like that. You can use their video maker. They've got marketing integrations. So these are the web analytics tools that we talked about in the presentation. So it uses things like Google Analytics. So that way you're told the behavior of the visitors on your website. And it goes into things like customer management, your finances, if you decide to have part of your invoicing and things like that off of your website, and this is the route you choose to go, by all means. You can, again, do analytics and reports. And you can also use them to get a business phone number. But again, this is all things that are either going to come your way now or they're going to come your way once your business grows. You're either going to use this option or you're going to find a different option that works for you. Either way, I'm always here to help. Just shoot me an email, give me a phone call. I am here. All right, well, that brings us to the end of our tutorial for today. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always available to help during my business hours. Again, I have office hours of Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we are not open on this upcoming Monday, but I will be in on Tuesday at 8 a.m. So I hope to see everybody then. All right, I hope everybody has a fantastic long weekend. And thank you guys so much again for joining the tutorial on creating a website with Wix. All right, bye for now, everybody. Have a great long weekend.